And so I decided to pick up my pen to relate the most disturbing episode of my life thus far.
It all began early one morning in 1898, when Sherlock Holmes invited me to accompany him on a visit to the Marquis of Conyngham.
Welcome back, Sirius Graves, and today we're playing A
Watson,
Testament
my
to
dear
Sherlock
fellow,
Holmes.
We can now go and inform the Marquis that we have found the Samoan necklace, and very much faster than Inspector Baines, too, which pleases me.
Have you really solved the theft, Holmes? And so quickly?
I have indeed, Watson, and believe me, it was completely unnecessary to spread out all over London, as our friend Baines thought was best. He likes to boast that his methods are equal to mine, but once again the outcome has contradicted him.
After all these years of accompanying you upon your investigations, I thought that by now I should be reasonably capable of following your train of thought. But in this particular case, I must admit that I don't understand anything at all.
Ah, you see, but you do not observe, Watson. There lies the difference. It is a matter of course.
A matter of course? In the middle of the night, when everyone is fast asleep, the service bell within that room rings out and alerts the servants. They dress quickly and come running, but the door is locked and there is a strong smell of burning from within. A few seconds later, the master of the house himself, the robbed Marchioness's husband, the Marquis of Conyngham, arrives and unlocks the door using the sole key. A fire has started inside the room, but they have managed to arrive in time to put it out. It is at that moment that the Marquis realizes that the famous Samoan necklace, which had been safe within its glass cabinet only a few hours earlier, has now disappeared.
In order to explain, let us confirm my theory before the arrival of Inspector Baines.
Okay. I'm controlling Sherlock Holmes. Got it. Yeah, I know how to walk and move. Look at the broken showcase and press X. Okay.
This window was cut with a diamond. A clean, discreet piece of work. This is where the necklace was.
See how tiny the hole is, and not one fingerprint upon the window.
Okay, cool. Hi, Jonas. Long time no see. I just started a new game today.
This window was cut.
See how...
Yeah, I know. I already did that. Can I look at something else? Look at both clues now. Both clues?
This window.
See how...
I only see one clue. Look at both clues now to enter examination mode with multi-zone. Oh, nice.
All the windows are locked. They've not been forced. A mark, undoubtedly made by a diamond. Someone tried to cut the glass, but he was interrupted.
Therefore, the thief tried to escape through the window, but he was interrupted.
No shit, Sherlock. I can say that now. Funny. Okay. Go to the chimney, you will see a hand icon. Got it. Okay, I have a pocket knife, matches, and a magnifying glass. What am I gonna do with all that crap? Near the piano, some music scores are on the floor. Alright.
I need something.
Can I take it or use it, or what am I doing with it?
Let
There
us
we go.
examine the crumpled scores that have fallen off the piano.
Fingerprints. I see one. Yeah.
These sooty prints were left by a tiny hand.
I don't understand.
I'm
why these
actually
music scores
doing
are
pretty
covered with
good.
soot.
I got a good, I just left my personal trainer and had a new body composition done today, and it's working. I've lost body fat, and I'm pretty excited about it. Okay, cool. Make a character move faster. Okay, I have to go through this entire tutorial. Okay, cool. Yes, I'm running. Yay, I'm running. You can now search for other clues. Got it. That's what I planned on doing, but you won't let me.
Footprints. You are not going to get on your knees to examine them.
There is no need. It is soot. The servants must have trodden in it while they were putting out the fire. Heading towards his chosen escape route, probably the window, the thief knocked over the stool, which then caught fire.
But why didn't he try to put the fire out at once?
Strange. There are some objects here that have been knocked over.
The fire started here, just beneath the bell pull.
Whoever pulled the cord would have had his feet in the fire, unless it was pulled before the fire started. All the windows are locked. They've not been forced. A candle. It must have fallen from the chandelier. Not very well kept, this aquarium. I can see a dead fish floating on the surface.
Probably because something fell in it.
These documents are not very interesting, even though they're addressed to the Minister of Maritime Affairs.
The Marquis himself.
Okay. Anything else? Oh, yep.
All the windows are locked. They've not been forced.
Yeah, you said that 3 times now. Anything else? Oh, no worries.
This draft screen
Everybody
makes an
has a
ideal
normal
hiding
life.
place.
As the theft was committed at night, I conclude that the thief hid himself behind the draft screen and waited until he was alone in the room. Strange. There aren't any prints. Yet I'm sure that the thief hid here.
When the servants arrived at the door, having been alerted by the bell, they saw evidence of the theft and the fire, but they didn't see the thief.
This door is very hard to force. The Marquis is the only person to have the key. The thief could not get out through here until eventually, when the door was opened by the servants.
Oh, look who it is.
Mr. Holmes, you're already here.
Good morning, Inspector. You've arrived just in time.
Scotland Yard arrives like the cavalry, always in the nick of time. Ah, but I know that satisfied expression, Mr. Holmes. Have you already solved the case?
It's possible.
We have retraced the thief's rather unusual footsteps. He is a true acrobat. But what I cannot understand is that when the servants entered the room, there was no one to be seen. An acrobat, perhaps, but an invisible one? I do not think so.
The only explanation is that the thief escaped before the servants arrived. I don't know how, but there is no other way.
I beg to
Half a
differ.
point for the doctor, nil for the inspector.
Basically,
I'm
this
pleased to
is
see
a game
you find the
about
situation
Sherlock
amusing,
Holmes
Mr.
being
Holmes. Very
accused
well, then.
of stealing
Explain.
something.
Dr. Watson was correct
And
when he
having
mentioned
to
acrobatics, but he is mistaken
clear
about
his
the
name.
nature of the acrobat. As for you, Baines, you're quite incorrect, as the thief was in the room when the servants entered.
Explain, for
So
heaven's
he
sake,
has
Mr. Holmes.
to kind
Watson,
of
how could a
hide
thief
and
be missed
figure
in the
out
middle of 8
who's
men?
setting him up.
I don't know. Because he is very small? Stop teasing us, Holmes.
Exactly, because he is small. Small and remarkably agile.
You're thinking of a monkey?
And a trained monkey at that, without a doubt. A Leontopithecus rosalia from Central America. The animal had been hidden inside the room.
Just think of
for
it as
several
CSI
hours,
in the
calmly
1800s.
awaiting the signal from his master. Once night had fallen and the room was empty, a high-frequency whistle alerted the monkey that it was time to begin the procedure for which he had
Yeah.
been trained. The monkey emerged from his hiding place and used the point of a diamond to open the glass cabinet and steal the necklace. He headed across to the window by the chimney, but knocked over the stool, which in turn knocked aside the fire guard and started the fire. The frightened monkey jumped from the chimney by swinging from the bell pull, thus alerting the house servants. He then went to the window and began to use his diamond to cut a hole, but was interrupted by the staff trying to gain entry via the door, and he panicked again. He ran across the piano, scattering the music scores onto the floor, before hiding inside the chandelier, knocking over a candle. Finally, the servants and the Marquis entered the room, leaving the door open while they put out the fire. It was during the confusion that our agile little thief made his escape through the doorway. As simple as that.
A brilliant explanation. Bravo, Holmes.
And the necklace?
I
Never
can
left.
see it from here, my friends. It's right in front of us.
We have searched the room from top to bottom, Holmes. How were we unable to find it?
Because we paid insufficient attention to the only victim of this affair.
What
The
victim?
fish.
No one is dead?
Yes, Watson, a poor goldfish whose destiny was to die, crushed by one of the most precious necklaces in England.
The aquarium is just beneath the chandelier. I understand.
The little monkey had likely hung the necklace around its neck and lost it when he leapt from the chandelier. The jewels fell into the aquarium, where they remain now. Marquis, here is your necklace, intact, just a little wet.
Mr. Holmes, this brilliant demonstration does credit to your reputation.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, the
Do you wish
remake
to
of Last of
verify
Us
the
2
authenticity
wasn't
of your
different
jewel?
at all,
No,
so
I
it wasn't
recognize
worth
it.
replaying
I've spent many
when
hours
I've already played
admiring
it.
you know.
Good. I will return it to its box, and
Inspector, a bank has just been held up.
And there's
You must
nothing
follow me
really
at once.
good out
Order
there
the
right now,
Scotland Yard.
so I'm waiting
what
for
time is
a couple games to
Sirs,
be released.
duty calls. My regards, Marquis. And well done again.
There's another game I want to play called Under the Waves, which I just bought
there,
as well.
the necklace is in its box. We've lost enough time here. Let's go home, Watson.
Ah, very well, as you wish. A good day to you, Marquis.
With pleasure, gentlemen. And once again, thank you.
So just for having something to fill in the time between now and the new games that are about to come out, I thought I'd play this.
This morning's newspaper. Holmes, have you read this article about you?
No, Watson, not yet, and I won't have time to.
Read it before you leave. It's outrageous.
If you insist.
Okay, yeah, let's get it. No, I don't want to talk to you. I want to read the paper, so give it to me. Looking at what? Sherlock Holmes. At the home of the Marquess of Conyngham, the investigation is a fiasco. Yesterday, celebrated detective Sherlock Holmes was invited to the manor of the Marquess of Conyngham to supply his conclusions. Following his investigation into the disappearance of the priceless Samoan necklace, it should be recalled that the lady called in the detective after the police appeared, flummoxed in the face of the astonishing circumstances surrounding the theft. Indeed, the valuable piece of jewelry disappeared while the door to the room in which it was displayed was locked. The alarm was raised by the servants, alerted by the room's service bell ringing out during the night. Yeah. Because Alone in the Dark is coming up, the new Silent Hills are coming up, so yeah, just some new stuff around the corner. When the Marquis, the only person in possession of the key, opened the door, everyone rushed in to extinguish a fire that had started before it was noticed that the necklace had mysteriously vanished. The most astonishing factor is that no thief was found within the room, and all the exits were closed. As usual, Mr. Holmes resolved the case in the twinkling of an eye, and the jewel was recovered. I will not waste my time on the various explanations as to the disappearance, because I would rather draw your attention to, dear readers, to the last surprising development in the case. Following the departure of Sherlock Holmes, who placed the necklace in the safe himself, the Marquis noticed that the jewel was nothing but a poor copy of the original. Let it not be forgotten that Samoan necklace, although plain and without ornament, is a unique because of rarity of its pearls. Pearls which are found only in a small part of the lagoon of the archipelago of the same name, and to which scientists attribute their exceptional quality to the strong density of crystal and aragonite that they are made of. The priceless necklace, brought here at the beginning of century by Lord Fenton Arwick, the Marquess' grandfather, an eminent explorer, should have been part of her daughter's dowry of her marriage to the Duke of Newcastle. So I'm going to place a simple question. Should we not, in all open-mindedness, ask ourselves if the necklace was not simply and deliberately exchanged for a fake by Mr. Holmes himself? I'm aware, dear readers, that the brutality of this question, without any preconceptions, may certainly shock some of you, but the facts are there, and our thoughts and judgment should not be confused with the regard which we all share for the famous detective. It is not the first time that the Globe Explorer has expressed its reservations as to Sherlock Holmes' methods. Do not forget our counter-investigation into the escape of Arsène Lupin, the Frenchman who took malign pleasure in tarnishing the image of our royal family, and who, by lucky chance, managed to elude capture by Mr. Holmes. At the time, we did not hesitate to consider a tacit complicity on the part of the latter. For those who are familiar with Mr. Holmes, it is quite apparent that his character traits show more of the opportunist and brilliant usurper than that of an altruistic defender of the law. I would draw the attention of our readers to suggest that the description of the gentleman provided by his friend Dr. John Watson through his stories is a long way from the truth. Jesus Christ! Indeed, his behavior is derisive, contemptuous, haughty, and offensive towards the police, and in particular towards Inspector Baines, replacing Inspector Lestrade, who is currently convalescent and an habitual abuser of narcotics such as heroin and cocaine. This is why, dear readers, it is important to disregard Sherlock Holmes' good reputation in order to form an objective opinion and ask the pertinent questions. Was the necklace that Holmes found already a fake? If that was the case, why did he not mention it? And why should he insist on placing it back within the safe himself? Finally, has the detective some unsavory interest in this affair, or is it a simple case of deceit in order to steal the extraordinary Samoan necklace? It is up to you, dear readers, to form your own opinions, but you can count upon your humble servant to continue revealing the public the doubtful methods and motivations of one who, in the future, I shall not hesitate to call Sherlock Holmes the usurper, whatever the fuck that means. To be continued.
Prince Woodville, French culinary expert and bagpipe player, might be our next king. That's not so shocking, my dear fellow.
You know exactly to which article I'm referring, Holmes. How can Farley dare to tarnish your reputation like that?
You know, Watson, that wherever glory walks, jealousy is bound to follow. As for the forgery of the necklace, I suspect that we shall soon be enlightened in this regard. Come in, Inspector Baines.
There's a lot of reading in this game, I think. Lucky me.
Mr. Holmes, how did you know I was here?
You are one of our rare visitors who avoids the second-to-last step of the stairs, which creaks dreadfully. And if I add the clinking of the handcuffs at your belt, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit, Inspector?
Have you read that, Rag?
Inspector, can you explain this slander? Has the necklace of the Samoas really been replaced by a fake?
I don't know how the reporter got hold of the information, but it's true. About the necklace, of course. I wouldn't permit myself to question the integrity and honesty of Mr. Holmes.
The necklace is a forgery? Impossible! I saw the Marquis authenticated before my very eyes, before Holmes returned it to its place.
Mr. Holmes, the Marquis believes Osmond Farley's theory. I shouldn't be surprised if the reporter isn't behind all this slander about you. He's a freelancer, well known for his explosive and subjective articles. In any case, the Marquis assures us that you were the last person to have the necklace in your hands.
Yeah, Detective Baines. He's a police officer.
I'm sure that we'll have no trouble in taking apart this theory.
It is unnecessary. Such allegations collapse on their own, like one of Mrs. Hudson's soufflés. Let us leave the police to solve this problem and turn our attention to the matters in hand.
Perhaps you are right, Holmes.
Inspector, I assume that you have the fake necklace with you. It's why you're here. Your superiors would like me to examine it.
Indeed. They would like you to confirm or deny putting this fake in the box.
Can't that wait? I must go to the house of Lord Peregrine Maitland, the Bishop of Knightsbridge. And the Marchioness?
She is beside herself. Without the necklace, her marriage is compromised. It is the principal item of the young woman's dowry.
What a lovely marriage. Holmes, forgive me for insisting, but don't you want to examine the fake jewelry?
Watson, I have an appointment, and it's out of the question that I arrive late.
It will only take you a couple of minutes. You really must quell the suspicions put forward in this appalling article. If you will allow me, Inspector?
Be my guest.
Very well.
Yeah? Coming where? Oh, look, these are out of it.
These 3 pearls are of poor quality.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, I can imagine. If you need to go, I get it.
This pearl is a different color. This pearl is too small. It is not in its place here. Too many defects. This necklace is a fake. This is nothing but a vulgar copy, and at a glance it would appear that the forger has intended for it to be seen as such.
How could we have been fooled by such a blatant imitation? I don't understand.
Yes, how is it possible? Holmes, do you have a theory about this?
I have absolutely no idea. You insisted that I examine the necklace, and I have done so. Now it is important that I keep my appointment. I'm sure, Inspector, that you will throw some light on this affair.
Holmes.
You may accompany me, Watson, if you care to do so.
Goodbye, gentlemen. I'll keep you informed as to my inquiries.
Goodbye, Inspector. You mentioned a bishop, didn't you? Are we going to his home?
Yes, the Bishop of Knightsbridge. I put his address on our map of London on my desk. Would you get it for me, please?
All right, Holmes.
Oh, now we have to be Watson. Okay.
The work table, where Holmes analyzes things.
Yes, I will be here Thursday.
I have found your map.
The police? Already? How did you know?
May we see the Bishop of Knightsbridge?
Yes. Yes, of course. But come in.
Awesome, I'll see you then. Have a good rest.
What has happened, Reverend?
What?
I don't know. It was last night, I think. I only just arrived, and I have made this macabre discovery. My God. How horrible. I haven't called anyone. How did you know that?
Holmes, look!
The Bishop, appallingly
boy.
mutilated.
How dreadful.
Mutilated. And killed. He was such a good man. How could anyone be so brutal? Look at him. He is barely recognizable now. How could any of God's children be responsible for that?
They were evidently unworthy children, Reverend. Now do please try to calm yourself and focus, because we will need your assistance. Do you have any idea as to the motive behind this?
I haven't had time to do an inventory, but nothing appears to have been stolen. And anyway, His Excellency didn't own anything of great value. I don't know what else I can tell you.
Note this down, please, Doctor.
Doctor? But you aren't the police?
No, Reverend. I am Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. Watson. We are here at the request of the Bishop.
In that case, I must ask you to leave, and not to touch anything. I must get in touch with the authorities without further delay.
Reverend, when the inspectors of Scotland Yard find themselves at a dead end, which they quite often do, I assure you, then they turn to me for help. If you will allow us to continue our investigation, then you shall have the answers to all of your questions.
Out of the question! I don't even know you! I'm going to call the police, whether you like it or not.
It would be better for everyone, Reverend, if you kept your temper. Watson, are you taking notes? This affair promises to be a complex one. Therefore, we must not overlook the slightest detail.
Yes, Holmes. I am keeping a meticulous set of notes. I have created a very clever deduction board. One thing we can be sure of at the moment is that this crime was not for gain. The Reverend has informed us that nothing valuable was stolen, and indeed, it would seem that the Bishop had nothing of any worth to take.
Very good, Watson. Do continue.
Oh boy. Okay.
This stove is filled to overflowing. The fingers have been crushed and violently struck. The fingers have been crushed and violently struck.
His stomach is covered in scratches. Quite evidently, they weren't made recently.
So, these wounds were not made by his murderers.
Okay, anything else?
His forearms have been ripped. Pieces of skin have been torn off. What do you think, Watson?
I'd say that he was eaten alive. Yet I've noticed a curious degeneration of the skin tissue around the wounds.
Okay.
These burns are terrible. A finger. Apparently it doesn't belong to the Bishop of Knightsbridge.
How dreadful. This poor man was tied just below the knees.
To stop him from walking, certainly, but mostly to free his feet.
His feet have been burned.
My first impression is that he wears a size 9 shoe.
You? But what does it matter, Holmes? My God, Holmes, this man was horribly tortured.
A piece of rope that was used to tie up that poor man.
Okay, did I get everything? Yes. Alright. So everything below him is done. Let's go up
His
here.
chest has been lacerated, I would say, with a very sharp and fine blade. You can see by his expression that he suffered terribly.
His mouth is covered in blood, and I can make out strips of skin between his teeth. My dear friend, everything points to this man having gnawed at his own forearms.
That's unbelievable, Holmes.
Okay, I think I got everything. So I think I got everything on this dude, right? Yeah, okay.
Something is missing here.
Oh, yes? And what might that be?
His shoes. Watson, his shoes are missing. A bottle of whiskey. I can make out fingerprints stained with blood and dirt. There is blood on this paperweight. This paperweight was used to crush the victim's fingers.
Ouch. Anything else?
A broken bottle of whiskey. However, the Bishop of Knightsbridge was known for his sobriety. It would seem that the brutes who tortured the bishop to death were intoxicated with alcohol.
Alright, I think I got all those clues, except for that.
A broken phial and blood near the neck.
What a strange smell. Chemical components, I think.
Okay.
It's a cilice designed to bruise the person wearing it. The bishop wore it as repentance. This metal rod is for fastening the chilice.
A whip?
No, it is a discipline for self-flagellation. This very pious man must have had the habit of mortifying his flesh as a means of repentance.
Ow, fuck that.
The picture of Peregrine Maitland. commander of the infantry brigade of Her Majesty's Guards at Waterloo.
The Bishop of Knightsbridge has the same name as his ancestor, an illustrious family.
Impossible to open it. Impossible to open it. Reverend,
Yeah,
I'm missing something. An implement with which to open this chest. Could you tell me where to find it?
No! Go to the devil!
What are you afraid of, Reverend? What is inside the chest?
I'm not afraid of anything. In fact, I do have the necessary implements, but if I have to give them to anyone, it will be to a representative of the law and no one else.
Okay.
Watch where you're putting your feet, Watson. Have you noticed these prints upon the ground?
Well, yes, those muddy marks.
See here, Watson. Footprints can often provide more vital information than the very best of informants.
Yes, if you know how to make them talk, that is.
It's child's play, Watson. We will begin by excluding the contaminating prints, which are yours and mine from where we came in, and those of our dear Reverend who was so impatient to call the police. I need something. Hobnail boots like those worn by laborers. This print came from an expensive pair of shoes, and it seems recent. It a fragment of stone. Peculiar nail boots like those worn by laborers. Well-worn shoes with an odd pattern on the soles. Hobnail boots like those worn by laborers. Nothing of interest here. Size 9. Size 9. Size 9.
They're all size 9.
Size 9.5.
Ooh, wait a minute.
Size 9. Size 9.5.
Okay, so...
Hobnail boots like those worn by laborers. Hobnail boots like those worn by laborers. Hobnail boots like those worn by laborers.
Okay. How many criminals were there? I would say 2.
That's not right. Start again.
Really? Okay. 1 then.
That's not right. Start again.
3?
Perfect. We now know that there were 3 crooks.
Because there were 3 boot prints? What do footprints reveal? 1 man joined those who were already in the room. 1 man left the room wearing different shoes. 1 man was carried as to not leave footprints. All men left the room jumping on 1 leg. That's funny.
That's not right. Start again. Strange but true. One of the crooks was wearing a different pair of shoes when he left here.
He
Therefore,
wore the
we have 3
bishop's
men
shoes.
who came in and left again. But one of them was wearing a different pair of shoes from the ones which he came in with.
So, all we have to do is look for a workman who likes Italian shoes.
Mm-hmm.
This door has not been forced. Where does it lead, Reverend?
To His Excellency's room. There is just a mattress and a stool.
The bishop's bedroom. It is very austere. Nothing in particular here. Closed. The veranda door hasn't been forced. Strange. Reverend, might I have the key?
No! You have no authority here. Let me call the police.
Perhaps we should listen to him, Holmes.
Perhaps you should let me get on with this, Watson. Closed.
Can I pick it or something?
A surgical scalpel covered in blood. There isn't any doubt. The wounds on the bishop were administered with this scalpel.
Let us look at our deduction board, Watson.
Okay. The bishop's shoes are missing. One of the murders left in shoes. One of the murders is a member of the clergy. That one. Okay. Didn't own anything of value. The veranda wasn't searched. And then Bishop's murderers were hired by someone. The murderers searched for the bishop's shoes. The murderers wanted to steal from the bishop. I'm going to say that one. The murderers were unable to open the safe. The victim was savagely tortured. The bishop was mortifying himself. She used to pain. Bishop punished himself too severely. The bishop couldn't stand being tortured. The murderers came here to kill the bishop. I'm assuming so. The bishop's murderers got what they wanted. The bishop's murderers didn't get what they wanted. The bishop gnawed at himself. The broken flask has some blood on top of it. Drink blood. The murderers made the bishop drink the contents of the flask. Yep, that's what I'm gonna say. Alright.
You have no right to search here.
Well, I already fucking did.
Let us look at our deduction board, Watson.
I already did. What else do I need to do? That's definitely right. I don't know.
Closed.
Okay, well, I don't know what else to do now that I've... The fucking preacher dude won't give me what I need. So, I don't know what to do.
You have no right to search here.
Well, I already fucking did.
You have no right to search here.
I cannot leave now. Let us look at our deduction board, Watson.
I did. Okay, let's... What do I do with all this stuff? Okay. What am I doing? I don't know.
I need something. I need something. Impossible to open it. I am missing some information.
This reverend's gotta give it to me. Quit being a dick.
You have no right to search here.
I don't know what I'm missing. I honestly don't. There's nothing else to inspect. What am I missing? Fucking Reverend hasn't called the police and he hasn't given me keys and I can't look for anything else, so what the fuck am I doing? I must have done this
I cannot
wrong.
leave now.
Why? There's nothing else I can do.
Closed. Let us look at our deduction board, Watson.
I don't fucking know, really. Well, I guess I'm going to leave it here because I don't know where to go from this point, and I'm going to have to do some research for this game because I've never played it before, so, yeah. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. My name's Sirius Graves. Like, subscribe, comment, tell your friends do the same, and I'll figure this game out, and if I can't, then we'll play something new tomorrow. Whatever. Anyway, have a good one. Bye.